Welcome to For Good Measure, an interview series celebrating diverse composers and other creative artists. I'm Nanette McGuinness, Artistic Executive Director of Ensemble for these times. This week, For Good Measure turns 200. To celebrate 200 episodes, we interrupt our Da Capo conversations to present a mini-series where we'll talk with E4TT members and past guest artists. Today, we are joined by E4TT pianist Margaret Halbig. Margaret, thank you so much for agreeing to do the podcast with me.
Of course.
So, for those of you who don't know, Margaret is the wonderful pianist, collaborative pianist for E4TT. Can you tell us a little bit about your path and your career to becoming a pianist?
Sure. I started piano lessons when I was 6 years old, and we had just moved to a new home. The house that I was born in was in a different part of town, and then we moved and we had a piano. My parents actually got rid of that piano a couple of years ago, but it was a very beat up. It definitely put in its dues. But that's what I learned on. And we had a piano. My dad played a little bit, and I was starting to teach myself how to play it because we had one of the Reader's Digest books. And the one that I was reading off of was the children's songbook because it had numbers attached to the notes. And I was teaching myself. I knew that 6+ meant A sharp. And I knew that, 4 was F. And so my mom thought, no, she needs to learn the right way. So my new neighbor across the street was a piano teacher thinking about getting back into it. I don't think she was really teaching at the time, but she was my first piano teacher, and I studied with her for 5 years. And every day, or no, not every day, every Monday, I would take my $5 bill across the street and give my neighbor $5 for my piano lesson. And she also had a daughter my age, so we would often hang out afterward, and I thought that was also fun.
It sounds great.
So then after that, I moved to a new teacher in town who got me ready to audition for music schools. I wasn't sure that is exactly what I wanted to do, but I did it, and I loved it. I went to University of Evansville in my hometown and studied with a really great teacher, Mrs. Fiedler, who is still there teaching. And then I did my master's in Kansas City at the University of Kansas City Conservatory, University of Missouri, Kansas City Conservatory, UMKC. And then I started my doctorate at the University of Kansas with Bob Koenig, who's my teacher. And I thought I wanted to continue solo performance, but when I met Bob, he was teaching mostly collaborative piano. And I thought Bob was the biggest rock star ever, and I just wanted to be like him. So I made sure that I could still study solo piano because that was very important to me. But then I started dabbling in chamber music.
The dark side.
Yeah. The first thing he gave me was the Franck Sonata, and I was hooked ever since. So at that point, I decided I don't really want to study much solo piano. This is way more fun, and the repertoire is way better. No offense to solo pianists out there. So that brought me, so actually Bob got the job in Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara. So there were 2 students of his that went with him to Santa Barbara and finished my doctorate there with him. Then I got to the Bay Area because I had a very good friend who lived here in the Bay Area that I would come up and visit all the time. And I loved everything about San Francisco, the Bay Area, all the sights, all the things to do, all the music. I just thought I just need to live here. And so after I finished, actually, I finished my doctorate like a month technically after I moved to the Bay Area. I got the paperwork and everything, had to send it to all of my professors to sign, and
Mhm.
um, yeah, it was all official, I think 2 months after I moved to the Bay Area.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I've been here ever since.
Yeah. We're glad you moved up here. Because
Me too.
if you'd stayed in the Midwest or if you'd stayed in Santa Barbara, I never would have met you.
Yes.
Yeah. And now you've been at the conservatory for a longer, longer time.
Yes, I started working, I believe in January of 2012. I moved to the Bay Area in 2011 and I started working there, I think, in January of 2012. I had a friend who I was working with Opera Santa Barbara when I was
Hmm.
living in Santa Barbara, and we did an outreach program. And one of the singers that they hired for that program was commuting, not really commuting, but would come down for a month or so
Hmm.
from San Francisco, and we would do the program. And she had just recently graduated from the conservatory. So
Mm.
she said, you have to get in there. I know the person in charge of hiring all the pianists, and so I'm going to give him your name, and the rest is history. I'm so grateful for her. I'm grateful to her for recommending me and getting my foot in the door there. Yes.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Yeah. And now what's your role there, your title there?
My title is Associate Chair of the Voice Department. I'm also a Principal Voice Coach, and I also play for instrumentalist, which doesn't really have a title, I guess, but I do that too.
You do a lot there. That's really what I wanted to bring out. That's terrific. Yeah. So tell me about playing with E4TT.
I love playing with E for TT because, as much as I do at the conservatory, I don't get to do enough chamber music, and that's exactly what I get to do in E for TT.
That's for
I get
sure.
to play in a lot of different configurations, of course, with voice, with cello, with violin, and with any configuration of that quartet. And other instruments too are often guests. So it really exercises my first love of chamber music.
That's so great. I didn't know that, by the way, but
It is, as much as I have fallen into the vocal coaching world, my first love is chamber music and instrumental music. And so I'm grateful that I am playing with E4TT because I get to play that kind of music.
yeah. And new music. You're quite the new music maven.
Thank you. Never thought about that, but I do enjoy new music. It just, I would say most musicians probably, I don't know if it's most. I'm sure many studies. I think you have to be very right-brained to be, I think a lot of musicians consider themselves to be right-brained. I am extremely left-brained, and I think new music and left-brained people mesh very well because
Hmm.
there's definitive answers, there's very specific wants and needs, and the composer just writes a lot more of what they exactly want. And I love that as a musician. I love not having to make the decision. I'm a Libra also, and we like balance and symmetry. And sometimes it's hard for us to make decisions because we see all the different sides. And so the more particular, I'm probably going to regret saying this, the more particular a composer is, sometimes the better. It just is easier for me.
Hmm. Making choices. I mean, you're talking to a professional ditherer here. Although in music making, I actually don't have that same, I guess, aspect to myself, but normally making decisions can be really hard. Um,
Yes.
but yeah. Well, and just, the meters and the counting are quite different in new music compared to the rest of, Mozart or whatever.
Yes,
Where
absolutely.
where nary a seven will appear.
Right, exactly. And I
Yeah,
love seven. I love five. I feel like my life is in those meters a lot of the time.
yeah, certainly the stuff you play for us and play well, by the way. So yeah, looking forward, not just with E4TT, but in general, what do you have coming up that's exciting or that you want to share with us? Far distant, coming soon, anything?
Well, I'm looking forward to the E4TT tour in September.
Me
I'm
too.
very much looking forward to that. Just I'm looking forward to the concerts, but I'm also just looking forward to the camaraderie between the three of us, me and you and Megan. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also this summer, I'm doing something new. I'm going to be teaching and coaching at the Taos Opera Institute, TOI, in the Taos Ski Valley, New Mexico. I've never been to New Mexico, and this is my first time working in this program, so I'm very much looking forward to that as well.
Be beautiful, won't it?
It will. I'm so thrilled. Yes, everyone says it's gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah, it is. So those are wonderful things. And yes, I love the camaraderie in the group. It is one of the joys of chamber music that you're up close and personal with a couple, two, three, not too many more musicians, and really collaborating at a very deep
Yes.
level.
Yes.
And we have a great bunch of people to collaborate with. So,
Yes, I agree.
all right. Well, anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. Thank you so much for doing this. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Thank you for listening to For Good Measure, and a special thank you to our guest, Margaret Halbig, for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast by clicking on the subscribe button and support us by sharing it with your friends, posting about it on social media, and leaving us a rating and a review. To learn more about E4TT, our concert season online and in the Bay Area, or to make a tax-deductible donation, please visit us at www.e4tt.org. This podcast is made possible by grants from the California Arts Council, the San Francisco Arts Commission, Grants for the Arts, and generous donors like you. For Good Measure is produced by Nanette McGuinness and Ensemble for These Times and designed by Brennan Stokes, with special thanks to co-producer and audio engineer Stephanie M. Neumann. Remember to keep supporting equity in the arts and tune in next week for Good Measure.